Hello, this is Switched On and welcome to podcast 8. It's been a few weeks since we've done a podcast, but we're trying to get the streaming side of things up and running. This is Mike, and here we have the legendary Riddle. This week we're going to be discussing the Switch Update 4.0. It's got a few little hidden secrets, which I'm sure most of you have already come across by now. I'm talking about Mario Odyssey and the Joy-Cons and the looming launch date. It's around the corner now. And a few other things, but we'll get started. We'll start with the Switch Update 4.0. Your thoughts, Riddle, first and foremost. You updated it, yesterday?
Yeah, actually the day before.
Okay.
But I did update it. I had a little look around, discovered that you can update your controllers. It's probably there before, but I don't really go too much into the settings. Just because it just works. So I just stick a game in and it just plays. It's not PC gaming, is it really?
Yeah, there's no configuring the graphics to make it actually work out of the box.
No. You just shove the cart in, away you go. And I've also noticed that you can record capture gameplay, which is good.
One, I think. Yeah.
I think that's really good. Probably not so useful for us as we're using now a capture card, so it's a little bit different for us.
See, here's my theory as to why it's only 30 seconds. Why would it be only 30 seconds? People jump on the bandwagon and go, oh, Nintendo, they don't like their YouTube censor with, flags here and copyright notices there. I think it's more to do with the fact that it's being rolled in post launch of all these different games. And there's like third-party games on the Switch. So it's only compatible with, I think, 4 or 5 core first-party games. And I think the idea is that they're then going to roll it out to compatibility for the third-party games. So they all understand how to bake that back into their games, retrospectively add the updates in. Once they got that working and they're all uniformed, then I think they would make it like an hour long. But they don't want to do that from the get-go if it's not going to be working from the third-party developers. That's my theory as to why that's the case. My cat is right here. But yeah, so never mind, this is going to annoy us now.
Oh, that's all right.
Moving forward, the other big thing, which missed everybody, I only found out from a YouTube video myself, was the fact that you can use your GameCube controllers.
Now that was quite cool.
Hey, I can play 4-player now, 5-player, 6-player, 7-player. I've got the GameCube Wii U adapter. I've got 4 GameCube controllers.
Yep.
I've got my Pro controller. I've got my Joy-Cons.
So from our playthrough today, testing the GameCube controllers, I would say it was hit and miss. I think Mario Kart, if you have a GameCube controller and you have the adapter from the Wii U, play it. Because it is amazing. It's very different than the Pro controller because you have to kind of get used to
the extra press on the button. Yeah.
And adapting to the style. But the analog stick is perfect for Mario Kart, in my opinion. I raced it and I loved cornering on it. It was a little bit sharper than I expected because it's not a smooth rounded edge, is it?
I think that's where you benefit with a GameCube controller, is it's got the 8 directional ridges in there. So it sits nice and comfortably in a ridge, so you know that that's the angle you're going to stay at. Which helps a lot for certain 3D games, especially third-person 3D games, I think. Not third-person shoot, but generally like over the head, top-down. I can see it being really useful. We didn't try it with Zelda, but we tried it with Street Fighter. More of a miss for me with Street Fighter. Because
I agree on it. I didn't like it that much
I
either.
thought it was great. I went first. You had the Pro, I had the GameCube controller. And I thought, oh, this is good because I can feel every ridge. I know it's, back, diagonally back, down. Diagonally down forwards to do the Hadouken or the special moves. And I thought it was pretty good. And then I realised I couldn't really remember or figure out exactly where the soft, light and heavy kicks are because the button configuration on the right is unusual. And then I switched for the Pro controller and I was just doing all the specials a lot easier off the analog stick. So
maybe that's a test run, isn't it? If you own Street Fighter and have a GameCube adapter, play it with that and then go and play it with the Pro controller and then you'll get the appreciation of the Pro controller because it is very well designed.
I think the big thing with this is if you had bought the Wii U adapter and you have GameCube controllers, you have all of a sudden have more controllers to play on the Switch than you had before. Because the Pro controller is expensive, relatively. So all of a sudden I've upped to my total player count. For most games, it is missing a button or two that you'd need for certain games and the clickable sticks, but effectively for more simplistic games like Tetris, Pupo Tetris or Street Fighter, and games like that will use more simplistic controls, I've all of a sudden got 4 more, which is great. And it was a free update. I think it was quietly baked in, and this is Nintendo's marketing strategy.
See, I disagree. I think it got put in. They had the intention to bake. You are probably right on the slightly baked in. However, I think they pushed it out earlier because they've seen the other videos that people are making saying, look what you can do with this. Look what you can add to this. Because I don't have the GameCube adapter. I actually own the like a little adapter for USB, so I can plug another like controller in.
Effectively doing the same thing. The Switch identifies it as a USB controller.
Yeah, actually identifies it as a Pro controller. So when you plug it in, it means you have the full access to the buttons, but you could use like a PS4 pad or an Xbox One. So I've tested it on PS3, PS4, Xbox One, and I tested it on some other non-branded like PC controllers, and it worked as well. So I was really impressed with that. So I think
it's a solid little adapter as well.
Yeah.
Solid, weighty, well built. You know, it's not the cheap sort of Chinese stuff that you can feel is going to fall apart. And you open it up and your SSD is just a collection of micro SD cards inside the chassis. But yeah, I think the reason I think it's a marketing strategy to not announce these features is it's exactly this. If it was all announced in a list and everybody knew what was in every single in the update, you know, here's your log for the update, it wouldn't be that much of a conversation. By not announcing it, a couple of days later, when it's 4.0 comes out, hey, it's 4.0. The next day, somebody finds out you can use, which is another point, Bluetooth headphones with a USB
adapter,
wireless receiver. That then gets spoken about again the next day in its own little bracket, and then a couple of days later, someone finds out you can use GameCube controllers. That then becomes part of a new conversation, keeps the Switch in the conversation. It's the same before the Switch came out. It's all about the rumour mill. No, don't say much. Only tell them a little bit. Get the rumour mill talking. Get people gossiping.
Don't you think it's not the rumour mill? It's a journey of discovery, because every Nintendo has always had hidden stuff in it.
That's the slogan, man.
Yes. It is. It's a journey of discovery. Right, so you play Zelda. They didn't, when you played Ocarina of Time, they didn't list out what you could do in the dungeons and what you could.
Yeah, you're right. I think you're right. Like that could be a possible way of doing things. I mean, Nintendo's quite. There's part of the reason why they're quite restrictive on quiet playthroughs for Nintendo games is because they don't want somebody just playing the game from start to finish with no commentary, no unique spin, because it sort of defies the point of them selling the game. So I'm just going to watch the game and they lose the whole idea of surprise. I mean, Legend of Zelda, for example, everyone thought it was going to be great. It was already in the discussion for Game of the Year before it came out, but no one expected it to be as good as what it was, including all the main critics.
Yeah, but what does Zelda do? It doesn't tell you anything.
Exactly, but that's my point. It's all about surprise. No one knew how expansive
journey of
that
discovery,
game was.
as I've already said,
Yeah.
because it just throws you in and just goes, good luck. that's pretty much what it is.
That's a wicked tagline. But no, the next big thing was what we've already mentioned is the wireless headsets. So I suppose if you've got like a PS4 headset that uses a dongle.
Yeah.
If you do, I don't know. I don't know how it works in PS4, but you can plug the dongle in and you can then play the audio through
Watch this space, because I'm going to test it with my Corsair Void wireless headset that I actually own for my PC. And
does that come with a USB?
Oh yeah, it works on my PS4, so I know that and chat works.
Then it will work. I'm pretty certain.
Yeah. So I'm just going to see what the sound.
It'd be good to do a test one. Now the one thing though is you still can't voice chat without the app, which means you can't voice chat through the headset. Well, unless you're playing LAN. If you have a local area network set up with the switches. Not Wi-Fi, but local area network. It allows you voice chat. It's really weird.
No, but it's restricted because the service isn't ready yet.
I know. I think that's what it is.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's only the service, because essentially it's not going to take that much processing power. It really isn't.
No, I mean the argument is maybe the Bluetooth inside there, for example, was proprietary, so it can't run the controllers and the headset at the same time. I don't think that's true. Bluetooth is Bluetooth. It will receive the signal. It has to just decode the signal in a certain way. I think it will. I think it will come. I think the app's in its alpha stage. Not even in beta yet. The app is in its most basic state. It's version 0.001. Well, not really, but it's essentially like equivalent of.
Yeah, definitely.
I reckon by the time the online service goes live next year, we'll be looking at a completely different machine. I mean, the UI, it will be completely different. You're going to have. It's going to be slower than what it is now because they're going to flesh it out more.
Yep.
More settings, more customization.
Yep. I want themes.
Yeah, but well, black or white at the moment.
Yeah. I want green.
Oh. Green is your thing. Isn't it?
Yeah. Well, it's luminous green. It's like luminous green.
Yeah,
It's not. It's not
it's like
like
the Razer sort of setup, isn't it? Like the.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I've got Razer peripherals, so I might as well have it all.
Keep it going. So
In
you just
tune.
confuse your Switch to be in an Xbox One.
Why? Because theirs is a.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Theirs is the wrong kind of green.
Yeah, it's like
theirs is a muddy grass green. Because you not noticed that when you put the green on Windows, it goes to like a grass green. And if you've noticed what I've done, I've customised the colour to match the peripherals.
Yeah.
Because I use the RGB settings to figure out what I wanted.
I reckon the colours will come in another small update, 4.0.1 or whatever. I reckon full themes will come out when the online service is up and running, and not Club Nintendo. I'm going back years now. My Nintendo syncs up properly with the Switch services. I mean, we've already rolled out the ability to get discounts on Switch games now. They're using indie games as a test bed again.
Yeah, of course.
But once they sync them up properly, you'd be buying themes for your Switch through the My Nintendo service on your PC or your phone, and it will all be all the accounts will talk and play together nicely. They tested it with the 3DS and My Nintendo when it first launched with getting a free game. You go on your PC, you click download, it automatically downloads on your 3DS where it's in sleep mode. The Switch is going to do that. I mean, the Switch, I keep forgetting, is both a portable and home console.
Yeah. We
discussed today, I haven't turned my Switch on for a week, so I probably haven't got the update. Well, it's been sitting in the dock with...
And I point out that it does, because I didn't do mine, and mine come up with an update saying just install. And I went, okay, cool. And that's how I got my 4.0. I didn't even have to worry about it.
Mine done it in the background when it was off. It was completely done it. It authorised the install when ahead, which I think it doesn't bother me. But if the hacking community does get away with modding the Switches to play, pirate games for basically what it's going to be for, call it whatever you want. If it auto updates even when it's in sleep mode, that will get rid of that problem, because once it updates in a later system,
you've got a brick or you've got a hacked console.
Yeah, they're gonna unless they find the emulation or the.
But that might be why they've done it.
Yeah.
To stop that, because the problem with hacking like systems that they've developed games for, which can be a bit of a problem because
it takes us an R4 card for the Switch, right?
Yeah, true.
I mean, you're going to need a massive SD card, but for all intents and purposes, you could just drop one game in and one game out.
Yeah, but how annoying is that?
No, I say that. I've got 128 gigabyte in my Switch.
Yeah.
So it's high speed, 128 gigabyte. I could probably get 10 games on that.
Yeah, as long as it's not as long as it's not FIFA.
As long as it's not FIFA, yeah. I wouldn't put that on my Switch at the moment.
But that will come later. that comes up very soon.
Yeah, on to the next thing, I suppose. So we spoke 4.0 to death.
Yeah, we have. And the next thing I wanted to bring up was about Doom releasing on the 10th of November, which is monumental for a handheld device.
Yeah, it's going to be...
No Doom game has been released for a handheld device, like, straight away.
It's not just a Doom game, there's so much about this. It's Doom, it's handheld. It's a game that was in the running for Game of the Year just last year, so it's a current gen, It performs, 30 frames per second, but it's a lot of 30 frames per second. That does sort of bother me slightly as a PC gamer, but it's no big deal. It's not like I'll never play 30 frames per second console games for decades anyway. But it's extremely violent, it's hyper violent, it's gory, and it's coming out on a Nintendo platform.
And it's particularly dark.
Yeah. It's just the antithesis of everything that Nintendo has been over the last 10 years. It's modern, it's going to have online capabilities. Download them separate. Totally makes sense. There's no point in baking in the multiplayer into the cartridge for the developer to have larger memory on their cartridges when it is mostly going to be used, or partly going to be used in handheld. Yeah. Give the consumer the option. It's free. It's a free download. You do it by download. Yeah. Makes total sense to me. But yeah, it's everything that Nintendo has sort of been the anti of. Well, it's the opposite too.
It is very true. They've been very anti it. But as they come into a new phase, which you can see that from the way they develop the console, the most important thing, it's Doom handheld, and it's not a mod or a hack.
And it looks like it performs pretty damn well as well.
Yeah, from what we can see.
It looks like it looks like it'd be better than anything you get on a 360 or PS3.
It's not going to be far off the PS4 and Xbox One.
I reckon it's going to be like anything. You go onto your PC or your gaming, you go onto PC and you choose your graphical settings, right? And if you have a potato PC running like a a 1050 Ti or whatever, you can set those settings down to run that game.
Yeah.
You could probably even go low, like 1050, and you could probably run that game. If it's locked to 30 frames per second, you can almost certainly run that game. And that's without optimization and the lower API overhead that you get with a dedicated home console.
Yeah.
So if you bear that in mind, it's built on an engine which fully supports the Switch. I just think this is a great testbed. I hope it sells well, because it will encourage other companies to jump on board.
I think it will sell probably moderate because it is an older game now. What I think will sell well is Wolfenstein 2.
Yeah, Wolfenstein 2 I think will sell much better. I say much better. I don't think it's going to be too far off. Don't forget, the most important thing for a developer is to look at the attach rate.
Yeah.
If there's 10 million consoles sold, how many of those million games have they sold?
Yeah.
You could have 100 million consoles sold and sell 2 million copies of your game, and that's an attach rate of obviously 2%.
Yeah.
Or you can have a 10 million consoles sold with an attach rate of 2 million, and that's a 20% attach rate. So it looks a lot more positive on the flip. Like with the Wii U barely shipping 13 million, Mario Kart 8 sold, I think, 8 million. So you're talking like over 1 in 2 users on the Wii U bought that one game, which is huge, it's incredible. Forgetting GTA 5 and the phenomenon of GTA 5, AAA games rarely, if you're looking at a couple million sales, it's really, really successful. If you sell, again, not Call of Duty because they're massively big online games. You said massive multiplayer. It's definitely not that. But yeah, if you're looking at a game like, I suppose even Titanfall. Titanfall is an online game, but it's new.
Bombed quite.
It's a shame Titanfall 2 because they corrected all the mistakes of the first game. But again, if it sells 3 million, it's a success.
Yeah, I get it.
But then you've got to match the online, the
capability,
the service that continues over time. But that's as an example. But I think an Uncharted game on average ships around 10 million. So if this ships 1.5 million, for example, I would deem it a success. And I think the developers would deem it a success as well.
Because I know there's only, 4 or 5 million out in the wild now?
Yeah, I reckon there's about 6 million now.
6 million, probably.
I reckon they're going to hit their target of 10 for the fiscal year.
That'd be pretty good. That'd be well good.
It'd be well good. It'd be nearly what the Wii U done in 4.5 years.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is crazy.
In less than a year.
And don't forget the Xbox One is barely pushing 30. I don't think it's even past 30 yet. It's really stalled in terms of hardware sales. They'll be selling a further that in 1 year if they can keep the momentum going. Get that handheld.
They'll pop into second place. Yeah, I think Xbox is in a different position because they're trying to push PC at the same time, and
I think they need to.
I think they don't. They're kind of stuck because they don't have that many individual IPs.
They're in a rock and a hard place, right?
Yeah, they are. They've got the hardware, but they haven't got the games to play it on.
Phil Spencer's done an incredible job to turn it around after, I forgot his name now, completely dropped the ball with the announcement for Xbox One. I mean, it was just an absolute disaster.
Well, they said TV,
sports, TV. I think there's a montage on the internet of every time I say TV and sports, and it's about 8 minutes long.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
And DVR capabilities. They got a lot of push back against the DVR capabilities, and I think it was mostly because it's the always online service.
Yeah. People hated it. Well, do you know what happened with that console? I never forget this. I was waiting in a queue in Game or Game Station, whatever it was called at the time, and this guy comes in and goes, "I've just bought an Xbox One. Do you have the internet? Because I need to actually set it up." And I thought,
because he had the day one update to get rid of
it. And I was just like, so you can't even turn it on and play it?
Well, here's the thing: when they first announced it had to be essentially always on for a lot of games. The DVR, recording the games was pretty good. All the ideas were great in principle, and the DRM, I keep saying DVR, but the DRM side of things,
they just crucified themselves.
They could have done it right. Steam is that way.
Yeah.
In Steam, you buy a game and it's locked to your PC for intents and purposes, right? It's DRM locked. It's digital.
Yeah.
They could have got it right. They opened the door for Sony, who absolutely mullered them in some of the worst.
They did do some really good videos.
This is how you share your games on PS4, right?
I did like that.
But that reminds me of Sony, the console wars in the 90s. Sega does what Nintendo don't. It was.
You mean
I quite liked it. Sega.
Yeah.
I said Sega. Yeah.
We'll see it
when we heard that. But yeah, I think that the Xbox, Microsoft moved forward pretty well. Phil Spencer's great in the lead. They've tried to get the, exclusive content. In the end, it just, timed exclusive for this indie game, which actually delivers a wrong message, because if you can only get a timed exclusive on an indie game, you kind of get an indie game, right? That's a problem already.
Yeah, it's kind of a bit. They're in a tough place.
But here's what they've done great. I got Gears of War 4 for free when I got my graphics card, right? Fantastic. Yep. It was just come out, so I got a £40 game for free. I got it for free on both the Xbox One and PC. Because whatever gets, only those specific games. If you buy those specific games on one platform,
you get it on the other.
On your account services, you get it on the other. That's what they need to do, because they had the PC market in a stranglehold before Steam came along. And then they dropped the ball massively. And they make the operating system for which Steam predominantly is installed on.
Yep.
They must be able to bring it back. I mean, they're still overpricing the games. They haven't got the sales down. I mean, I know we're massively digressing it, but I do think it's worth a mention.
But it is kind of where Nintendo's taken the time to step back and obviously have the Wii U and kind of think, okay, this went wrong. What didn't go right? And then they slowly creep the Switch in. They get games like Doom. They're starting to pour more IPs in.
It's a new Nintendo.
Yeah, they are going to drag them back.
100% new Nintendo. This is a Nintendo that wants Wolfenstein and Doom on it.
Yeah, man.
That's just not Nintendo before. This is a Nintendo that has full support for one of the most popular game engines.
Yeah. And
spends a whole year with their own team to play around with it, just so they can support third-party developers when it comes to exporting to the Switch. They're crying out for third-party support. Whereas Nintendo of old is, right, we're building the N64. We're building this for our games. You can build games for it. We want you to build games for it, but this is for how we want our games to run. And that's why Final Fantasy never came out on the N64. It was never just, their biggest third-party support went straight to the opposition. And it crippled them. And they stuck with that for one way or another, be it through hardware restrictions or limitations or just not providing the means of support. They stuck with it.
And then I got one final question about this topic. PES on the Switch.
Should be.
Yeah, it should be, I agree.
But this is Konami, who only make 3 games at the moment. Metal Gear.
Well, they still make Pro.
Metal Gear Pro and Bomberman. That's the extent, right? But credit to Konami where credit's due. They have fully supported Bomberman on Switch. It sold a lot better than expected.
So did Street Fighter.
Yeah, well, it was Capcom, right?
Yeah.
But they did. I think they came out at a time where they come out at a time where the console was starved of games, intentionally so, I believe, because Zelda was there at the right time. It thrust it into the spotlight. You don't want it to be shadowed by the beast in which Zelda was, and it's the same with Mario. A lot of these games, these indies are rushing at the games a couple of weeks before Mario comes out, because when Mario comes out, it's going to be Mario. And this is where one thing I will say is, Doom comes out at an unusual time. Comes out like 2 weeks after Mario comes out.
Yep.
It could get overshadowed by Mario a little bit, and then Skyrim comes out like 2 weeks after that.
Yeah.
Which is from the same studio, right? Yeah. Bethesda is Doom, right?
Yes, you are right.
So the
I
same
think they've
studio
done that on purpose.
But that's, I mean,
just before Christmas, you got Skyrim. Yeah, that's been overplayed.
Well, yeah, but me as a gamer, I'm going to buy one of the two. I'm not going to buy both.
Maybe.
Well, I suppose one thing I would say is Doom is a short campaign. Skyrim is a time sink. So yeah, I can see maybe.
I think they brought out Doom because they want to have it out before Christmas. Same thing with Skyrim, and they know they've got competition from Mario, but most the demographic that Nintendo's aiming at is our group, mid-20s to mid-30s, 40s, because they realise they're possibly a little bit more, but they realise that the gamers who have the money are there. They are going to probably pick up Mario. Well, there's a good chance they'll either pick Skyrim or Doom, so why not have them all out at the same time?
I think people often get I've said this before, I hate the definition of hardcore gamer, softcore gamer, casual, you name it. I hate those terminologies because they're a little bit elitist. But if you are going to categorise people into those categories, people often get the casual gamer confused with the mobile gamer. That is a casual gamer. But, I mean, I think I've said this before as well. Activision, the CEO or the leader of the COD project for Activision, openly stated that their target market is the casual gamer. The person who buys Call of Duty every single year and FIFA every single year. And, you know, that's my older brother to a T. That's certain people we know in our social circle.
Yeah.
That's totally fine. The core gamer are those that like difficult challenges, or those that like games of service that over multiple varieties, not just the one that they stick to. That like multiple machines, that like retro, that like to buy a collection of games and play through them.
Or they just deeply enjoy a storyline.
Yeah.
And have to play through games that have multiple storylines.
It's not measured by the amount of time you put in. It's measured by the content you consume. Which, ironically, when the terms first popped up, they were definitely about the amount of time you put in. You know, but I think it's shifted the other way. I mean, for me, who's to say that somebody who loves to play predominantly mobile games isn't a gamer? Of course they're a gamer. To say, oh, they're just a casual gamer. They're not just a casual gamer. They're just a certain type of gamer. As long as their enjoyment, which I don't like, encroaches on my sector, because, you know, it has a little bit with buy this, buy that, loot boxes essentially. That's coming over, and it's yeah. But hey, that's that. I'm digressing again, but yeah, Doom.
That's why I like games like Doom.
Yeah.
That's why I like the way Nintendo rolls, because they don't go the way of constant buy this, buy that, and I think that ruins the gaming market. But that is something that they're pushing.
Well, they've tested the waters. You were on the Wii U wagon a little bit late.
Yeah.
Wii U wagon a little bit later, right? So I remember when they first announced DLC for the Wii U. Before they brought out the DLC, there was an interview with either Miyamoto or Albert at the time, who's still alive, who was the CEO at the time. They stated that they were essentially testing 3 different variations. They had the Mario Kart variation, which is a single, relatively expensive DLC package that is bought and attached to the game at a later point in the year. You could buy like it's kind of like a season pass. You can buy it all at once, or you can buy each bit by bit, and it was split into 2 bits. They had the Smash Brothers side of things, which is almost like the microtransaction side of things. Buy just Ryu for £3.79, or pay £7.40, you get Ryu, a stage, and 2 other skins. Right, and it turns out that if you buy every single piece of DLC for Smash Brothers independently, it costs twice what the game does. Right, that's insane. But it was an experiment. It was done with that game. And the third one now, I can't even remember what the third one was. But it was the other option, which was Splatoon. So it was 3 updates post-launch that don't cost anything. Okay, they're the 3 experiments, and they all done really well. But the one that was most critically revered was the Mario Kart one, and then they went ahead and done it again with Breath of the Wild. They can see that for those certain types of games, that's the way to do it. And other games, I think they're going to have different services, but I think they're trying to avoid any sort of locked on disc content. The only style they're doing that is for Amiibo, which is a skin again, but it's a bonus. I see it as a bonus. You have the Amiibo as a collectible figurine that happens to do something.
Yep,
it's totally fine.
It's just an NFC reader, essentially, isn't it?
All they need to do, really, though, in an ideal world, is allow you to buy that skin separately, should you need to. But they haven't quite got there yet.
No, they will do. Will do.
Yeah, I think you've got to get it. They're on the close game, right?
Our final thing about third parties, FIFA sales. On the Switch, 3% total is kind of the 1 to 3% is roughly what I'm hearing.
That was within the first month. It probably is a little bit higher than that now. No, the ratio is probably about the same.
It is per unit sold.
Yeah, over across all 6 platforms.
Why do you think that is?
Okay, some people blaming Nintendo, some people blaming EA. I think it's demographic. So there are 60 million PS4s out in the world nearly. There are 30 million Xbox Ones. There are 80 million of PS3 and Xbox 360, which have both come out on. There's the PC market, which is an unmeasurable amount based on the scale of users. It comes back to what I said before. The ratio of units sold, the attach rate, right? Not only that, the PS4 user and the Xbox One user is more into games of service. They are more casual users in the sense that, as what I said before, somebody who just buys Call of Duty every year, who just buys Battlefront every year, which is totally fine, again. But they're those type of users. They're going to buy their sports game every year. In America, it's going to be NBA. In the UK, it's going to be FIFA. Or it will be FIFA in America as well. It's the biggest selling game in the world, effectively, annually. So they're going to sell more on those platforms. Whereas a Switch user, if you've got 5 million Switches, you might have a 10% attach rate, which equals to like 500,000 units sold. Relatively speaking, for each platform, it's going to show it's 3%.
Yeah.
Because if there's 5 million Switches sold and there's 50 million PS4s, that's 10%. Right? But then you don't have the PS4 only, you have the Xbox One, the PC, the 360, the PS3. The attach rate's going to be lower for the Switch. So I think it reads a bit worse than what it actually is. However, it is a gimped game.
It is, my view really, is you didn't put a demo. The most annoying thing...
There is that.
Yeah, which drove me mad is you're going to put a game on the Switch, and most other games, within reason, will put a demo on there. This is not a small IP. This is a monster of an IP.
It's the biggest form of entertainment in the world is football. Like World Cup,
Exactly.
the European Cups, nothing draws a bigger audience globally than football.
So why wasn't there a demo? It's so frustrating.
Because
I wanted to try it. I'm not going to go and spend £55 on a game that I could buy on my PC for £40. You think I'm stupid?
Yeah, the Switch tax is it's portable, right?
No, but it's the same price as a PS4 and on the Xbox One. They're all £54.
Oh, yeah. Okay,
so why are you going to spend that money, put your hard-earned cash into a game which you don't know anything about the engine, you've never played it before, and it's an experiment? So it's a beta engine.
Football fans who buy FIFA every year who own a Switch, I would think it would make more sense to buy a Switch version because you can play it anywhere on the go and you can play like.
I agree.
Matches. We can roll it up at work and have a quick match while you're on your lunch break, right? That's great, but like you say, if you want to entice a new user, which the Switch is going to be the new user for. I mean, let's say half of all Switch sales are loyal Nintendo fans.
Yeah.
Who probably don't or haven't had the chance to play a proper football game if that's been their predominant main console. Well, then why are they going to jump in on the Switch? The FIFA. I think it's lazy. EA is lazy. EA is dropping the ball massively. They're lazy because they think it's the only football game on the Switch. So if someone wants a football game, they're going to buy it. They're forgetting the fact that while they make money whatever unit it's sold on, the game is going to be competing against other versions for viability.
Yes, exactly.
Secondly, EA is a complete disaster of a company at the moment. I mean, it's always been a company to love to hate. From stories you hear about what they do with their staff and the way that they're paid and all the other nonsense in the history of the company, it's been a company to hate. However, I don't know if you heard as well, might be digressing a little bit, with the single-player Star Wars game in development by Visceral Games.
Yeah, I've heard a bit of rumours about that.
No, it's not rumour, it's a fact, man. Visceral is gone. So EA's destroyed a studio, right? They've then taken a game that's supposed to be a predominantly single-player game, story-rich, and I'm paraphrasing, I can't remember the quote, they've essentially said that the current market, the current trends, show that it's not the most viable option to sell a game, that they want to provide a service, i.e. something that's probably
they want to make money,
multiplayer focused, right? Well, that's Battlefront. Have Battlefront for that and have your single player campaign. So they have taken a game that was originally Star Wars 1313 and that was cancelled. That was then moved over to this new Star Wars game that was a single player game.
They looked like it had a good storyline if you watch the trailers.
And they own the license. No one else can do this. So they've monopolised the Star Wars franchise from a gaming perspective, right? They then have that license until 2019, I believe. They haven't brought out a proper single player game with that license when the franchise has come back with 2 massive films with another 3 or 4 in the pipeline, one coming out this Christmas. I, as a Star Wars fan, want to play an awesome single player experience. No one else is going to be able to make one because of legal reasons. So EA's making one, and then they go, actually no, we want to cash cow this. I think it's terrible, and I think that's EA in a nutshell. They want to measure the success of the Switch and the viability of the Switch and releasing their games on it by FIFA. You're not going to know that. Bring out Battlefront if you want to know if it's worth bringing out
that's
game, right?
That's a conversation we keep having.
Yeah,
because they're morons. But here's what I think. I think FIFA are starting to drop the ball and PES are coming like this because the gameplay on PES this year has been phenomenal.
Well, it's reviewed Metacritically higher than FIFA for about 3 years in a row now. Since they moved over to the Fox engine, it has improved. The first Fox engine game I thought was a letdown personally. It was slow, it was chuggy,
I didn't like
unresponsive. I think that was a beta test and I think it's a shame because the fans had to pay for it. It's still reviewed high, I don't know how. But then last year's one was really
good.
slick, really nice. And then this year's is a massive improvement. It feels close to the PS2 games without the obviously much
With better
slick
graphics.
animation and pings around really nice. And for whatever reason, I keep letting in 4 goals in a match and having 30 shots and not scoring one. But me in real life,
it's pro all over. It's the most difficult game to score straight on shots with.
There was that one match where I said
You destroyed me.
I said I beat you 5-0. We got to the 78th minute at 0-0 and I somehow whacked in 5 goals. It was the 5th one coming last minute.
But I will say I did have Liverpool as a team, and again my defence collapsed.
It's just like real life.
Yeah, exactly.
And I said that as a Liverpool fan. But in all seriousness, like, it plays well. It's great. I want Konami to support the Switch with PES. I think it didn't come this year because they were shocked by the success of the Switch. Therefore, their engine, which is a custom engine, hasn't yet been modified or tweaked to support effectively a good game on a Switch.
Yeah.
It's the same with Square Enix and their Luminous engine.
Yeah.
That's why the rumours are about the Unreal Engine being used to port Final Fantasy 15.
Yeah.
I think once the engines are tweaked, there's no reason why any game that's on any other platform cannot come to the Switch if it's just graphically reduced.
But that doesn't matter. 720p. It still doesn't matter, does it?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying to you. I mean, at the end of the day, I would happily take a lower tessellation quality with a reduced anti-aliasing approach to games and maybe a lower draw distance if I can play an incredible game on the go.
Yeah, exactly. It means you can just bring it to work, have your lunch, keep continuing. That's what I did with Zelda. Zelda just kind of did the same thing. And for anyone who has not picked up Zelda,
it's game of the year.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm going to sound biased. It's one of my favourite franchises. It's game of the year. I think a lot of the critics are going to look at that. I heard from IGN actually an interesting fact that when they poll for game of the year, it's done on a vote system, and they all pick their first, second, third list. However, they've had it in the past where there's 2 games that are so close for game of the year from one publisher that they almost knock one of each other off. So you got Mario Odyssey coming out, right?
Yep.
Then you got Breath of the Wild.
Yep.
Well, you got an issue here. If one vote's one and one vote's the other, there's half the votes for Breath of the Wild, and all of a sudden Horizon Zero Dawn's game of the year.
Yeah,
which is a total possibility. So it'd be interesting to see
Horizon
how different.
Zero Dawn, I haven't got yet to play.
It looks fantastic, man.
It does look fantastic. It looks like a great game.
That's Sony whacking the ball out of the park. Exclusives like that on their system.
Exactly.
I actually am a fan of both consoles, but Xbox One, if you're not into Forza, like, you've just lost a massive reason to buy that console, because it's Forza 5, 6, 7 onwards. Horizon in between Horizon. Forza Horizon, how ironic. Forza Horizon 2 and whatnot. You're getting the same exclusive reiterated upon, like a sports game. You're not getting as many unique games, and then they cancel games like Crackdown, and it comes back. It's a messy process at the moment with Microsoft. I think they're in the transition phase, and whatever comes next.
I think with gaming in general.
Yeah.
At the moment.
Well, why would I buy the Xbox One X when I have a gaming PC?
You wouldn't.
What?
Yeah.
It is the most
powerful
console ever made.
Why would you bother buying a PS4? Because I think if you're a gaming PC gamer, you're not probably going to buy those 2. You're going to go for the Switch because it has games that you can't get. Okay, Sony does have a few, like Drake's Fortune, Horizon Zero Dawn. Not the biggest issue. Red Dead was their last one on the last generation on PS3, which was exclusive just to consoles, not to PC. I mean,
Red Dead Redemption
didn't come out on PC.
No, I mean, exclusive to consoles. I missed
That's what I'm saying.
But we're seeing the different. I mean, the PC market, again, we're digressing, but throwing a lot of information. The PC sector was on a massive decline once the iPad launched. Its sales were just already on a slow downturn, and then they dipped massively because the tablet was all the average user needed from a home user perspective.
Yeah, exactly.
Not a power user, you don't need a computer. And obviously laptops were there for those who had portable business usage for like Word, Excel. But then Steam really twisted around the meaning of what a PC is really all about. Now we're seeing a massive... The biggest gaming market in terms of revenue made is PC.
Yeah.
It's bigger than mobile. And not many people realise that. It makes more money annually, billions and billions, come from the PC sector. And the peripherals, the graphics card industry has gone through a boom. The enthusiast side of things is going up and up and up. And the mid-tier stuff is going up. Now a PC is a 4th tier device, a gaming device. It's both being taken seriously by gamers.
Yep.
It's being taken seriously by developers. And just generally speaking, most people own PCs now either for production work or gaming, which they both kind of do the same thing for what you're aiming for.
So that's why you kind of sit in the middle.
Yeah.
Whereas would use one for both.
Yeah. So like with the slight difference, if you design a computer that's predominantly for graphic design, for example, you wouldn't necessarily have the same powerful processor, necessarily speaking, because you don't need, say, all the cores for gaming. However, it will
you'd have more. Well, if you're doing video editing,
you'd have more cores, right? That's what I mean. Sorry, you have more cores. If you're going to buy a gaming rig, you wouldn't need as many cores, right? And something in the i5 range is still totally legitimate as an option to buy. So the PC's up and coming now, and I think you're going to get less and less console exclusives unless they're a singular console exclusive. Like Mario, like Uncharted.
Yeah.
And it only, Microsoft, maybe to their detriment, having their games playable on PC is having a downturn, but I don't think it will, because for every time it's on PC you have to run the Windows operating system, and they just want it to be the one Windows 10 family.
Yeah,
It's synonymous. That's why the Xbox One is running a Windows 10 sort of variant, as it were.
And they're going to get it closer and closer.
Yeah.
So I wanted to call to our final topic, which kind of leads into two things. Odyssey. Few days to Odyssey's released, along with a lovely red Joy-Con controller.
Yeah. Oh man, I need new Joy-Cons.
Exactly. So
I don't, but
so what are your thoughts on the Joy-Cons, and how excited are you for Odyssey?
Oh, I was unbelievably excited for Odyssey. Like, if Odyssey is in the same vein as Zelda in terms of, and what I mean by that is what Zelda done for the Zelda franchise, bringing it back to its roots, but also creating something that's a completely unique experience.
Yeah.
Mario looks to be definitely bringing it back to its roots, and it's probably got quite a unique feel to it. I'm gonna love it, man. It's gonna be like going back to the N64 of Mario 64 over again, or Mario Sunshine on the GameCube.
The real thing I want to know is, are they gonna have? Because I got Cappy. Is it going to be a flying version like the 64? I hope there is.
I don't think so.
I think we might be surprised at what there is.
I think there's tons of surprise left. If they've done the same thing they've done with Zelda, we've only seen the surface.
Yeah, we've only scratched.
I hope that's the case, because otherwise it's way too much spoiler for me out there.
Yeah.
The reason I don't think they're going to have a flying cat per se is because the whole mechanic is you can take control of anything, including something that potentially flies.
Yeah.
So that would be the flying mechanic. You take control of it, maybe Koopa, I forgot what they're called now, the flying Koopas. It's gone. But you know what I mean.
Yeah.
The cloud, and then you can fly away.
Or the Koopas with the wings.
Yeah. For example, we've seen bullet bills being taken control of, and you can go on a horizontal plane.
Yeah, you can't go up.
Can't go vertical, yeah. But that'll break the game. I think that's why it's quite clever. They've limited that in that respect.
Yeah, they just let you go from one side to the other.
I'm really insanely excited for Odyssey. I think it's going to be a system seller. If Zelda alone sold so many systems and it had 101% attach rate, which is insane, you got to forget, Zelda isn't the face of Nintendo.
It's not.
Mario is the icon which pulled down Mickey Mouse from his throne. It's the most the most recognisable icon to children, at least, in the world. And now that's also the most synonymous icon for Nintendo.
Yeah.
And then you've got a game which looks like it hit the 10s out of 10s. It's already got 10 out of 10 actually from Edge UK magazine. So this is going to ship, I think, tons and tons of units.
Because Zelda is a very unique experience, and I don't think it's as popular as Mario.
It never used to sell well. Zelda historically, you'd have an attach rate of 10%, and you'd get I think on the Wii, which is an insanely successful console, it barely pushed past 10 million. I think it might have only been at 7 million. Same with Metroid. Everyone's happy Metroid's coming back. They historically haven't sold well. They will now, because the demographic Nintendo's managed to latch onto. But Mario is a wider audience, much more familiar, and it will get a lot more parents buying their console for their kids.
Yeah, well, they'd be forced to, because kids will be nagging at them.
Yeah, well, Christmas period.
Yeah, true.
Black Friday. It's all around the corner, man.
It is. And that's why I think those red controllers are a good idea for someone who hasn't got a Switch. For me, I'm not bothered because I got the neon colours.
Yeah, the neon are nice.
Yeah.
I've got the grey. I like my grey ones. I've got an issue with my left one, so I'm going to have to sort that out one way or another.
Nintendo, please bring out 2 green coloured Joy-Cons.
Purple. GameCube purple.
No, green Splatoon ones. I want...
All from Japan, you should be able to get 2 greens.
That's good.
You can custom order in Japan. They make them for each side. Whatever colour you want.
I want both green. I just want both green. I told you I got to think about green. I love it.
Oh man! Right, I think that's it.
We're going to wrap this up.
Podcast 8.
Thanks for joining us.
Stay switched on.
Yeah.